don't do business with your friends and family. That's what they all say, right? Let me ask you, how many of you do business with your friends and family? Very few, as I expected. Seems like a really bad idea, right? Not for me. I did the exact opposite. I actively did business with my family, with my wife to be precise. And it was the best decision I ever made. So I'm going to tell you a story of how we made it work. And I'm going to take you through 3 rules on how you may be able to do business with your partner. Hopefully, some of this will change your mind, open your mind, and inspire you. Seems doable, right? We'll know over the next 10 to 12 minutes. So let's go. On March 3rd, 2017, Trisha and I got engaged. And on April 17, 2017, she joined me at Dr. Vaidya's. Weeks after our engagement, we put all our eggs in one basket and decided to build a company together. No one was supportive. Both sets of parents, and let me tell you, they worked together, and the extended family thought it was an absolutely terrible idea. They told us planning a wedding and building a company together is an absolute disaster waiting to happen. For some reason, we thought otherwise. We said we'll always put our relationship first, and we're going to give it a shot. 6 months, we'll see how it works. But somehow, we knew this was the right decision. And so we went with it. We were the masters of our ship. We embarked on a voyage which seemed to have stormy waters, but we were ready for it. When we started dating in 2014, we were in different fields. Trisha had graduated from Warwick University and then worked at Goldman Sachs in the UK. She moved back to India in 2014. I always believe she moved back for me, but that's a story for another time. When she moved back to India in 2014, she was part of the founding team of one of India's largest e-commerce marketplaces. She then went on to work in impact investing. I, on the other hand, graduated from Brown University in the US in 2013, and I came straight back to India. I knew I wanted to be back in India. I didn't get a job. I got an internship at a large consumer sector focused private equity fund. Over time, I converted this internship into a job and started to lead e-commerce investing for them. Through our time as investors and doing our job on a daily basis, our conversations were startups and funding rounds and how we could do it better. It seemed like entrepreneurship was something for us, but what happened next was something we'd never expect. It was the journey of a lifetime. I took the plunge in October 2016, a little bit before Trisha. I quit my job and I took on my family legacy of ancient Ayurveda. I wanted to repackage this ancient Ayurveda to appeal to modern consumers. We launched 2 products that made the world of Ayurveda stand up and notice because of a very different approach. We had a big launch event at a famous hotel in Bombay. We had more than 300 people at this event. We had press, we had media, and 6 distributors agreed to buy our product. We got 10 lakhs worth of billing after that event. The private equity analyst in me started thinking, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 5 crores. It seemed like the business was off to the races. Let me tell you, the best fiction stories are written on Excel. 3 months later, harsh reality hit. When I went out into the market, I realized that I had billed to distributors. These distributors needed to bill to retailers. The retailers needed to bill to end customers, and only once these end customers bought my product would I get paid. The reality is none of these end customers bought my product. I was up against large Ayurvedic behemoths. I didn't have the capital to be able to market, and so I got 90% of this product back. I faced my first big failure in life. I was a good student in school. I went to a good college. I had a great job out of college. I'd never seen failure like this. I went to my room on Friday night and locked myself up for the weekend. Over a little bit of time, some good sense prevailed. I reflected on what had gone wrong. I was speaking to Trisha when she said, look, it's very difficult to compete against those large behemoths when you don't have a budget. Offline is great, but nobody's looking at the Ayurvedic opportunity online. Why don't you give it a shot? I agreed with her, but this time with something different. I was 25 years old. I ran a manufacturing business which had production, sales, distribution, marketing, strategy, legal, HR, IT, admin. At 25, I was overwhelmed. I did a lot of things, but I was average at everything. And I couldn't excel at anything. So I tried to convince Trisha to join me. It took a little bit of convincing, but eventually she joined Dr. Vaidya's. And that's when the fate of the company changed. We decided to go online first. We built our website. And how are we going to be different? We are taking 150 years of family legacy, a large repository of formulations, and we were giving it to customers, high quality Ayurvedic care and formulations at the touch of their fingertips. This was new. By this time, I was the CEO of the company, but Trisha decided she'll join the company as PR and marketing strategist. She didn't want to join as a senior position because she didn't know if it would work. And so she wanted to prove her chops in the organization before she became part of the senior management. I knew from the first second that she would, but that's how we started on our journey. To say the first year was tough would be an understatement. Planning a wedding, working 14 hours a day, having absolutely nothing to show for it, and then showing up to those wedding meetings late and tired, but no results for our busyness was not a great feeling. We had good days and bad days, but we motivated each other through it. I remember Trisha almost falling asleep while working on an Operations Excel, and I told her, there is such a large vision with this company, keep going. When I would come back from the umpteenth investor rejection and be dejected in the office, she'd say, think about the thousands of customers that are benefiting from our products. In the first year, we spoke to every single customer. We worked hard, we trusted the process, and order by order, customer by customer, patiently we started building. I remember a mentor at that time telling me, product market fit, PMF, it takes time. But when you hit that inflection point, things will zoom. So be ready for that. For us, this point came in November 2018. We hit 50 orders a day on our website. You're looking at me thinking, 50 orders a day, why is he so excited? Well, in 2023 now, I'm taking you back to November 2018, single branded Ayurvedic website doing 50 orders a day. It was a big deal. We cut a cake in our office to commemorate this moment. And I remember while cutting this cake, I felt something. As an entrepreneur who's been banging your head against the wall for 2 years, when you start seeing that your business is going somewhere, you get this inherent feeling. It's time to hyperscale. And so with that hyperscaling came the creation of these 3 rules. The 3 rules that made us work efficiently and better together. Rule number 1, divide and conquer. Clearly demarcate responsibilities so that no one is stepping on each other's toes. When this hyperscaling phase began, there was so much work and honestly so little time. We were lucky to have complementary skill sets, and so we divided the business based on our skill sets. She was a structured, organized thinker. And so she was responsible for operations, customer service, website maintenance, tech, daily performance marketing, and day-to-day finance. I'm a little bit scatterbrained and creative, and so I did the easy stuff. I took on sales, marketing, brand, and because I was the product expert, I ran the factory. I did all the interviews, I did all the front-end stuff. That's the reason I'm here. If you ask Trisha to come here and her life depended on it, she won't show up to give a TED talk. What I lacked, she made up for, and vice versa. For our team as well, and for anyone externally, it was clear who was in charge of what. If someone came to me to discuss operations, I would say it's her domain. And if someone came to her to discuss sales or the factory, it was my domain. It was succinctly clear from day one who did what. And that takes me to rule number 2. Be completely honest and transparent and be ready to accept the most brutal feedback. We were sounding boards to each other. Look, as an entrepreneur, you're a horse with blinders. You're doing your day-to-day, and it's always nice to have an honest, clear external perspective. She was that mirror for me. We grew constructively. We gave each other feedback, and we figured solutions for the business together. We kept each other updated, but we also kept each other accountable. I wasn't scared to tell her if she messed up, and neither was she. Did we argue? Yes, 100% we did. But we never ever let ego come in the way of an argument. The argument was always not what's best for us as individuals, but what's best for the business. We debated out fairly and on merit. And if we reached an impasse and we couldn't come to a decision, the person who was responsible for that department, that function in the business, was the one whose argument trumped. And once the decision was made, we'd back each other wholeheartedly, regardless of the outcome. I remember one of these arguments actually. I was in charge of the factory and Trisha was in charge of the warehouse. At times, demand would grow much faster than supply, and she'd come to me livid. She'd say, I hate delayed orders for customers. Is your factory going to produce for me or not? I'm laughing about this now and we can all laugh about it, but that time I would be scared. I hated sales going down though in the business, and so I'd make that commitment, and if I missed that commitment, it wouldn't be good for me. But we always knew the other person would come through. We trusted the other person. The good thing about working together is your fights, both personal and professional, can't last long, because honestly there is a decision to be made, a fire to be put out, a success to be celebrated. Did we take out frustration on each other? Like any other couple we did, but we understood the emotion and the journey as founders. There was no one day when I felt that I wasn't completely supported by my partner, and that's what kept the sail flying through the toughest of times. And that takes me to rule number 3. Accept you are different people. Some things you will react to in a similar way, and some things you'll react to in a different way. And that's healthy, that's natural, that's okay. We had a good balance as co-pilots. I had the energy, I always wanted to be number one, I never settled, I thought about the future. Trisha, on the other hand, focused on the now. She wanted to celebrate the small milestones, take Sundays off, and make the team feel really, really good about themselves. Did we take work home? Yes. And this is where we were similar. Everyone said it was unhealthy. They laughed at us when we pull out our product from the back pocket during a wedding. They'd laugh at us when we were wearing our Dr. Vaidya's t-shirts all the time. And they'd laugh at us when we had one of our product mascots at our own engagement party. But we knew no other way. This is how we were wired. They said we needed a balance. They said take date nights, go for date nights, take weekend breaks. But whenever we had time off, we'd catch up on sleep or TV shows. Now, maybe it's something we did wrong, but there were so many times when the Netflix show was paused for a 1 a.m. strategy session. Maybe it's wrong for you, but for us, that was okay. We spent 99% of our time thinking about one thing, growing this business. Were there sacrifices? Yes. There were birthdays and anniversaries spent at the office. But it didn't matter to us that others didn't understand it because it worked for us. And so I say, do what works for you. I honestly think we were lucky we were wired the same way, and in this thing we were similar. While I was CEO, I took every single opportunity to make Trisha feel that this was as much hers as it was mine. You always want your partner to shine, and you're happy in each other's success, and you keep motivating each other to get better. There was no me in Dr. Vaidya's. It was always us. And this, I think, made our relationship much stronger. Planning a wedding, 2 sets of family responsibilities, building a company together. We were overwhelmed. Did we break down? Yes, multiple times. But we managed that as well. When both of us were broken down, one would find the strength and the energy to smile, get up, and motivate the other. Seeing your partner distraught, seeing the love of your life going through a tough time makes you motivated to work that much harder to show and see success. Again, I'm not saying that it's for everyone, but this is what worked for us. We grew up, we raised capital, we engaged with millions and millions of consumers. We built a business, we sold a business. And we did this all together. There were endless hours, obsession, heartbreak, but I'm so proud we lived it together. I get asked a lot of times, right? And you guys are probably thinking, was it too much? That's why I've given you these 3 rules. As an investor, I get asked a bunch of times, what's the right way to find a co-founder? Do all of these speed dating events work? I'm going to take a controversial view here and say no. A co-founder relationship is a deep relationship. You spend 14 hours a day for 5, 7, even 10 years. It's like choosing a life partner. If you're looking for a co-pilot in work or in life, Here are some things I learned, maybe some more rules I learned from building, scaling and exiting that you can think of when you're choosing the right person for you. Number one, you're always on the same side. Find someone who you have absolutely no ego with. Number two, trust and respect are the foundations. Without this, the building crumbles. Find someone who can trust and respect you as much as you can trust and respect them. And number three, it has to be an absolutely honest partnership. Find someone who can help you build your strengths, but tell you honestly about your weaknesses and help you get over them. And most importantly, find someone who can be your constant cheerleader, who can motivate you even in the toughest of times to do your best. When we sold our company, we were a married couple for 4 years, and the society we live in, everyone seemed to ask us, baby plans? We had one answer, though. We'd both say, we've already built and nurtured one baby. We gave everything we had to our baby, our company. We put all the sacrifices to ensure the company had its best future. And I'm so proud to have lived this journey along with my co-pilot and my wife Trisha. As I come to the end of this talk, I go back to that one question I asked you. It doesn't seem that bad, right? Seems doable? Hopefully my 3 rules would have inspired some of you. And if they didn't, let me share one more thing with you. Eventually, we did end up having that baby. My wife is not in the audience here because Aisha is now 9 days old. So if you weren't happy with this talk and you weren't happy with what I said, do as I walk out or leave a comment. I'll be back the same time next year to give you my 3 tips on parenting a newborn. Hopefully that will make up, and I have 1 year to prepare for it. But jokes apart, thank you so much to all of you for listening and allowing me to share my journey. I hope this will inspire many, many more couples to get on this amazing journey that we had together. I'll be very honest with you. It was the journey of a lifetime, and I won't have it any other way. Thank you so much.